let's talk about money. We all have a story about it, right? But what if I told you that story, well, what if you're not actually the one who wrote it? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the hidden beliefs that are secretly running our financial lives, often without us even having a clue. Seriously, think about that for a second. When you make a decision with your money, is that really you making a conscious choice? Or does it sometimes feel like you're just on autopilot, performing a role that was handed to you, reading lines you didn't write? And that's where this idea of money scripts comes in. These are these deep, unconscious beliefs we all carry about money. And the craziest part? We usually pick them up when we're kids. They become our default settings, the automatic lines we fall back on without even thinking. And let me tell you, these scripts are powerful. Take this real story about a guy named Dustin. His wife brings up paying for their daughter's braces, a totally normal expense, and he just explodes. But his anger had nothing to do with the braces. It was an echo, a scene from his own childhood script about being told, "We can't afford it," playing out right there in his present. And look, we all get these scripts from somewhere, right? Our parents, the culture we grow up in, our own life experiences. We just soak them all up, learn the lines by heart, and then we perform them perfectly, often without ever stopping to ask, hey, wait a minute, does this role even fit the life I want to live today? Now, this is where it gets kind of dangerous, because it's not just about having these old beliefs. It's about what those beliefs can do to our brains, especially when they lock us into a feeling of scarcity. You see, when we feel that pressure, not enough money, not enough time, our brain does this wild thing called tunneling. It's exactly like you're looking at the world through a tiny cardboard tube. All you can see is the fire you have to put out right now. Everything else, like long-term goals or bigger opportunities, it just fades into the background. And that tunneling, it comes with a cost, a big one. It's called the bandwidth tax. It's not just a distraction, okay? Scarcity literally eats up your brain power. It puts a tax on your ability to think clearly, to solve problems, and to, not make impulsive decisions. And just how high is that tax? You're not going to believe this. Research shows that just being preoccupied with a money problem can temporarily drop your functional IQ by up to 14 points. Let that sink in. That's a massive hit to your cognitive ability, all because your brain is just consumed by scarcity. So you take these old money scripts, you add in that scarcity mindset, and what do you get? You build yourself a box. We call it a financial comfort zone. And let's be real, a lot of the time it doesn't feel comfortable at all, does it? But it's familiar, and that familiarity keeps us trapped, making the same reactive, short-term decisions over and over again. Okay, so the good news is you are not stuck in that box forever. But the first step to getting out is figuring out which script you've been handed. Researchers have basically boiled them down to 4 main types. As I go through these, just listen and see if any of them sound a little familiar. All right, first up, money avoidance. This is the script that whispers in your ear that money is dirty or that rich people are greedy, or maybe that you personally just don't deserve to have it. People with this script, they often end up sabotaging their own success or are the ones who are terrified to even look at their bank statements. Then you've got the opposite, money worship. This script screams that more money is the answer to everything. If you just had more of it, you'd finally be happy, all your problems would just poof, disappear. This is the script that drives workaholism or that constant need to buy more stuff, always chasing a feeling that money just can't buy. Number 3 is money status. And this one is, well, it's pretty brutal. The core belief is simple. Your self-worth is equal to your net worth. This creates this relentless pressure to look successful, to have the best brands, and to keep up appearances, even if it means going into debt or hiding spending from your partner. And last, we have money vigilance. This is the script of the super saver, the constant worrier. The belief here is that you've got to save for a rainy day, that spending is dangerous, and that you should never, ever talk about your finances with anyone. Now, on one hand, this can keep you safe, but on the other, it can suck all the joy out of life and fill you with anxiety. So, do you recognize yourself in any of those? Maybe a mix of them? Yeah, recognizing your script is huge, but it's just step 1. The real question is, how do you actually change it? Well, the answer isn't some fancy new budgeting app. It all starts with your mindset. And really, the path forward boils down to this fundamental choice right here. Are you operating from a fixed mindset, believing your abilities are set in stone so you avoid challenges because you're terrified of failing? Or can you shift to a growth mindset where you believe you can learn and develop, where challenges become opportunities and failure isn't the end, it's just feedback? That switch from fixed to growth, that's the key that unlocks everything. It's what gives you permission to look at your old script and say, you know what, this part isn't serving me anymore. It's the belief that you can learn new things, you can adapt, and you, yes, you, can pick up the pen and write a completely new financial story for yourself. So let's bring this all home. The goal here is to stop being an actor reading someone else's lines and to finally become the playwright of your own financial life. Remember that box? That constricted comfort zone. This is where most of us start out. We're trapped. The walls are built from those old family scripts, and our vision is narrowed by that scarcity tunnel vision. It really limits our choices and our potential. But here's the most important part. You do not have to stay there. Once you identify your script, once you choose a growth mindset, you can start to push on those walls. You can create a new, expanded reality for yourself, one with more freedom, more options, and way more control. Think about it like this. The script that might have helped you survive as a kid could be a total disaster for the adult life you're trying to build now. You wouldn't use the wrong script for a play, so why would we keep using the wrong one for our own lives? So the curtain has been pulled back. You've seen the script. You know where it comes from. The only question left is, what are you going to do about it? Are you ready to stop acting and finally start writing?